The stench of burnt rubber and disappointment filled the air as I glared at the lifeless hood of my car. It was supposed to be a quick dash to meet a new client, not a roadside breakdown on a deserted highway. I sighed, pulling out my phone and dialing roadside assistance. The robotic voice on the other end promised a wait time of at least an hour. Just as frustration threatened to boil over, a beat-up pickup truck screeched to a halt behind me. A grease-stained hand emerged from the driver's side, followed by a man with a grin as wide as his overalls. "Car trouble, huh?" he drawled, his voice warm and friendly. "You could say that," I replied, a touch of exasperation in my voice. "Looks like I'm stuck here for a while. I'm Nellie." He chuckled. "Don't worry, ma'am. I'm Alex, and this here is my territory. Most likely fix you right up." He worked quickly, his movements efficient and practiced. As he replaced the battery, we fell into conversation. I learned about his auto repair shop, a local gem known for its honesty and fair prices. He, in turn, listened patiently as I explained the world of investment portfolios and stock markets. "Sounds complicated," he said with a scratch of his head. "All that fancy math and paper pushing. Gimme a good old wrench and a rusty engine any day. At least I can see what I'm working with, real things, not some numbers on a screen." I snorted. "Don't knock it till you try it, Alex. Investments are the future. They allow people to grow their wealth, secure their dreams." We continued to debate the merits of his wrenches versus my spreadsheets as he finished the job. By the time my car roared back to life, the sun was dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. "Thanks, Alex," I said, shaking his hand, a warmth spreading through me that had nothing to do with the now functional engine. "Actually, I was wondering, maybe you'd like to grab a coffee sometime? Not to talk cars and investments, but just, to chat?" The surprise on his face quickly melted into a smile. "Coffee sounds good," he replied, scratching the back of his neck. "How about tomorrow morning? My treat, as a thank you for putting up with my greasy fingers on your fancy car." We exchanged numbers, and as I drove away, the setting sun felt a little brighter, the future a little less certain, but a whole lot more exciting. A year flew by in a whirlwind of greasy spoon dinners, late-night strategy sessions, and stolen kisses under starlit skies. We married in a simple ceremony, surrounded by close friends and the slightly bewildered gazes of Alex's family. His parents were kind, old-fashioned folks, but his sister, Sarah, however, was a different story entirely. At 28, she was a permanent resident at their house, her days spent flitting between manicures and shopping sprees, funded entirely by her parents' generosity. The first few months of married life were a blissful blur. We settled into a cozy starter home near Alex's parents' place, a practical choice according to him. My dreams, however, stretched far beyond the picket fence. I envisioned a sprawling mansion, a testament to the financial empire I was building, complete with a gleaming basketball court for the future mini-me's I yearned for. Sunday dinners at Alex's parents' house were an exercise in forced cheer. Sarah, draped in the latest designer outfit and sporting a fresh manicure, would regale us with tales of her weekend getaway to some exotic locale. Her parents beamed with pride, oblivious to the growing strain on their finances. One particularly tense Sunday, after Sarah had announced her plans for a month-long European cruise, Alex's dad, a kind-faced man named Henry, cleared his throat and spoke hesitantly. "Alex, son," he began. "Since we retired, things have been a bit tighter than we expected. We were hoping—" His voice trailed off, his eyes pleading. Alex, ever the dutiful son, immediately understood. "Sure, Dad. How much do you need?" My stomach lurched. Here we go again, I thought, bracing myself for another financial dance with Sarah's bottomless pit of needs. "Just a little help to get us through," Henry mumbled, avoiding my gaze. "Retirement ain't exactly what it's cracked up to be on a fixed income." "Don't worry, Dad," Alex said reassuringly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We'll take care of it." Later that night, as we lay in bed, I couldn't hold back any longer. "Alex, I said softly. How much are you giving them this time? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Look, honey, it's family. They need a little help, that's all. A little help every month adds up, Alex, I pointed out. And what about Sarah's little European jaunt? Don't you think they might need that money more? Alex bristled. Don't you start with Sarah. It's none of your business how she spends her money. It becomes my business, I shot back, my voice rising. When it affects our finances. We're a team, remember? And frankly, I'm tired of feeling like an ATM for your entire family. The words hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the comfortable silence that usually filled our bedroom. Alex's jaw tightened. You just don't understand what family means, he said, his voice laced with anger. You have no relatives, so you wouldn't get it. That hit me like a sucker punch. It was true, I didn't have any family. My parents had passed away when I was young, leaving me a small inheritance that I had used to put myself through college. But the lack of a family wasn't a choice I had made, and it certainly didn't make me any less capable of understanding loyalty and love. One Tuesday evening, the phone rang, shattering the fragile peace in our house. It was Sarah, her voice choked with sobs. It's Dad, she stammered. He's in the hospital. Cancer. They say it's bad. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Alex, his face pale, grabbed the phone from my hand and spoke in hushed tones. When he hung up, his eyes were red-rimmed. He's not going to make it, he said, his voice thick with emotion. The doctors are giving him a few weeks, maybe a month at most. The next few weeks were a blur of hospital visits, tear-filled goodbyes, and whispered promises. As the inevitable drew closer, the question of the funeral arrangements loomed large. One evening, Sarah, her eyes red and puffy, announced, I've talked to the funeral home. It's going to be a bit expensive, but Dad deserves the best, right? Alex, still raw with grief, readily agreed. Of course, honey, whatever it takes. It comes to. Sarah hesitated, then blurted out. $50,000. My jaw dropped. $50,000 for a funeral? That seemed like a staggering sum, especially considering the modest means of Alex's parents. 50,000? I echoed, unable to contain my surprise. Isn't that a bit excessive? Alex shot me a withering look. Don't be insensitive, Nellie. It's Dad's funeral. We have to honor him properly. Can't you just be supportive for once? The accusation stung. Supportive? I had spent the past few weeks juggling work and hospital visits, all while trying to navigate the emotional minefield that was his family. But apparently, that wasn't enough. Look, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. $50,000 is a lot of money. Maybe we should talk to your mom and see what she thinks. Before I could finish my sentence, Alex exploded. Don't you dare bring Mom into this, he roared. This is about family, and you clearly don't understand what that means. You only care about money. His words were a slap in the face. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring my vision. Here we were again, at the same impasse. My attempt at financial responsibility construed as greed, my concern for his family dismissed as cold-heartedness. The sting of defeat lingered long after I transferred the $25,000 to Alex. Swallowing my pride and doubts, I did it for us, for our future. Maybe, I naively hoped, this would be the olive branch that ended the fight and brought us back together. But Alex, it seemed, had other plans. That night, he packed a duffel bag, his face etched with a stony resolve. Where are you going? I asked, my voice barely a croak. I need to be with Mom, he said curtly. She's taking this really hard. But what about us? I pleaded, a desperate hope flickering in my chest. He didn't answer. Just a gruff goodbye and the slam of the front door, leaving me alone in the echoing silence of our once happy home. The next few days were a blur of tearful phone calls to Alex's mom, unanswered texts, and a gnawing emptiness that settled in my gut. Finally, I received a call from the funeral home, a reminder of the looming farewell. Wiping away a fresh wave of tears, I dressed in black, the weight of the unresolved conflict a heavy burden on my shoulders. Arriving at the funeral home, a cold dread slithered down my spine as I noticed the deserted parking lot and the closed doors. "Excuse me?" I stammered, approaching the receptionist, a kind-faced woman with weary eyes. "Yes, ma'am," she replied politely. "I'm here for the service of Mr. Henry Johnson?" I inquired, my voice trembling slightly. She consulted the ledger on her desk, her brow furrowing slightly. "The service for Mr. Johnson concluded yesterday, dear." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Yesterday? But My voice trailed off, confusion clouding my thoughts. "Alex didn't tell me." The woman offered a sympathetic smile. Perhaps there was a misunderstanding. It was a simple cremation, as per the family's wishes. Cremation? The image of the extravagant funeral Sarah had described sent a jolt through me. $50,000 for a cremation? The pieces just weren't fitting. Anger, cold and sharp, began to replace the initial shock. Furious and confused, I stormed out of the funeral home, the receptionist's words echoing in my head. The betrayal gnawed at me, a bitter pill to swallow. Where was Alex? Why hadn't he told me? More importantly, where did all that money go? With a burning determination, I steered my car towards Alex's childhood home. Pulling into the driveway, I saw him emerging from his car, a glint of surprise flashing across his face. "Alex!" I shouted, flinging open the car door. "What is going on? Where did all this money go? And why wasn't I informed about the change in plans?" "You didn't care," he shot back, his voice laced with hurt and accusation. "You only think about money, never about family." The audacity of his words left me speechless. "Family?" I echoed, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Since when does family lie and manipulate?" The anger simmered within me, threatening to boil over. Before I could unleash a torrent of accusations, Alex reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of paper. It was a legal document, the stark black letters screaming at me, "Divorce papers." "You want a divorce?" I asked, the question catching in my throat. "I can't live with someone so indifferent," he stated, his jaw clenched. "You have your investments and stocks, but you have no heart. I put the house up for sale. We'll split the proceeds." His words felt like a physical blow. The life we had envisioned, the dreams we had shared, all dissolved in a single, acrimonious conversation. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring my vision. With a final glare at his retreating figure, I stormed towards my car, my every step fueled by a righteous anger. Just as I reached the driveway, a flash of red caught my eye. Sarah, her face plastered with a wide, fake smile, started towards the house, a gaggle of designer shopping bags swinging in her arms. And parked right beside her, gleaming in the afternoon sun, was a brand-new sports car. "What the hell, Sarah?" I barked, my voice laced with ice. "Where'd you get the dough for that beauty?" Sarah's smile faltered for a split second, then returned with a touch of defiance. "Oh, hey, Nellie," she drawled, feigning surprise. "This? Inheritance, honey. Dad left me a little something extra." Her words were unconvincing. There was no trace of grief on her face, no mourning in her eyes. Just a smug satisfaction that grated on my every nerve. Ignoring the urge to confront her, I stormed towards my car, the image of the divorce papers burning a hole in my pocket. There was only one place I needed to go. The familiar chime of the funeral home door announced my arrival. Behind the reception desk sat Emily, a classmate from high school. Relief washed over me like a tidal wave. "Emily, thank God it's you," I blurted, rushing towards her. "Hey, Nellie," she said, a smile stretching across her face. "What brings you here?" "It's a long story," I sighed, forcing a smile. Instead of launching into the whole mess, I cut to the chase. "I need some information about a recent service, Mr. Johnson." Emily quickly pulled up the file on her computer. "Ah, yes. Cremation, as per the family's wishes." Is there anything else I can help you with? My heart hammered in my chest. Cremation? I echoed, the word tasting foreign on my tongue. The cost? Emily tapped a few keys on the keyboard. The total came to $5,237. I can print you a duplicate copy of this receipt, if that would be helpful. Relief flooded me. Yes, please, I croaked, my voice thick with emotion. Thank you, Emily. You have no idea what this means to me. My knuckles were white-hot as I gripped the steering wheel, the evidence burning a hole in my pocket. The facade of Alex's childhood home mocked me with its familiarity. Taking a deep breath, I marched towards the front door, my purpose fueling my steps. The moment I stepped inside, the first thing I saw was Alex, Sarah perched beside him like a bad omen. His mother sat on the couch, a tear-stained tissue clutched in her hand. The air crackled with a tense silence. Hey everyone, I greeted, my voice surprisingly steady. Alex's mother, her eyes red-rimmed, looked up with a flicker of surprise. Oh, Nellie. Why weren't you at the service yesterday? Service? I scoffed. No one told me it was postponed. I thought it was today. I offered Alex's mother my condolences, a hollow gesture at best, and then turned to Alex. Can we talk in private? I asked, my voice low. There are no secrets in this family, he shot back, his jaw clenched. Especially not from someone who isn't considered family anymore. His words stung, but I refused to let him get under my skin. Reaching into my purse, I pulled out the check and slammed it on the coffee table in front of him. Here's the money for the funeral, I stated, my voice firm. Now, where'd the rest of it go? Alex stared at the check, his brow furrowed in confusion. What rest of it? Don't play dumb with me, I snapped. The check is for $50,000. The funeral home said the service cost $5,000. Explain. The confusion on Alex's face seemed genuine. His eyes darted towards his sister, a silent question hanging in the air. This is ridiculous. Sarah sputtered, jumping to her feet. You just can't come in here throwing accusations around. But her outburst backfired. Alex's mother, who had been silently observing the exchange, spoke up. Wait, she said, her voice shaky. Your father had some money saved for his funeral. And I gave Sarah $10,000 to help with the arrangements. I did a quick mental calculation. $50,000 from us, plus $10,000 from you, Mom, that's $60,000. The service cost $5,000. Where's the remaining $55,000? My gaze landed on Sarah, a question mark etched on my face. Sarah's carefully constructed facade crumbled. Her cheeks flushed crimson, and she shifted uncomfortably under my stare. Finally, she mumbled, well, I just saw this amazing car, and I couldn't resist. Instead of the anger I expected, Alex placed a comforting hand on Sarah's shoulder. Hey, he murmured. It's not a big deal. You just needed a new car. We can figure something out next time. My blood ran cold. Not only had Sarah stolen the money, but Alex was condoning her actions? Did he not see the gravity of the situation? Not a big deal? I repeated, my voice laced with incredulity. She stole money, Alex. From her own father's funeral fund. Alex glared at me, his voice icy. You wouldn't understand, Nellie. You don't have family. You only care about money. His words hit me like a physical blow. The anger simmering inside me boiled over. I slammed the signed divorce papers in front of him. Take them, I spat, my voice trembling with rage. And then tell your precious sister to give me back my $25,000. Otherwise, I'll sue her for fraud. Alex opened his mouth to protest, but I held up a hand, silencing him. You know what, Alex? Save it. There's nothing left to say. The weight of the past few days finally settled on my shoulders, a crushing burden. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring my vision. But I blinked them back, refusing to crumble in front of them. 2 weeks flew by in a blur of paperwork and emotional turmoil. The house, once a symbol of our future, sat on the market. Then, one sunny afternoon, the doorbell rang. Opening the door, I was met with Sarah, a defiant glint in her eyes. "Here," she said, shoving a thick envelope into my hand. "Your precious money. Happy now?" Her smug demeanor ignited a flicker of anger within me. "Don't act like you're doing me a favor," I retorted. "That money was meant to honor your father's memory, not fuel your shopping sprees." She rolled her eyes, clearly unfazed by my words. "Whatever," she muttered, turning to leave. "Just don't come crying to me when you realize you're all alone and nobody loves you." The house eventually sold, and the money was split with Alex. The divorce became final, a clean break from a toxic past. Months passed, filled with new experiences and a newfound sense of freedom. Then, one day, the phone rang. The caller ID displayed Alex's number, a number I'd long since deleted from my memory. Hesitantly, I picked up. "Hello?" "Hey Nellie," came Alex's voice, laced with a desperation I hadn't heard before. "I need your help." "What kind of help?" I asked, already dreading the answer. "It's Sarah," he sighed. "She got into some serious debt, gambling debts, mostly. The creditors are after us, Nellie. They've already taken the house, the car repair shop." "What do you mean, us?" I clarified, my voice tight. "You and Sarah are no longer us, Alex. We're divorced, remember?" "Come on, Nellie," he pleaded. "Don't be like that. You have money, you can help us out. Besides, you're all alone anyway. No kids, no family, nobody needs you." His words felt like a slap in the face. All the progress I'd made, all the independence I'd built, dismissed in a single, insensitive sentence. Anger, hot and righteous, surged through me. "Nobody needs me?" I echoed, my voice low and dangerous. "Let me tell you something, Alex. I may not have a husband or kids, but I have friends, hobbies, and a life that doesn't revolve around cleaning up the messes of manipulative siblings. The answer is no, Alex. Absolutely not. And don't you ever call me again." With that, I slammed the phone down, the finality of the click echoing in my ears. There would be no second chances, no desperate pleas. I had built my own family, a family of friends, of experiences, of personal growth. And that, I realized, was more than enough. Years of experience had honed my intuition into a finely tuned instrument, and the melody it played was one of prosperity. The reward for my dedication? A sprawling new house on the city's fringe, a testament to my self-reliance and blooming independence. As I unwound on a plush chaise lounge, a cool glass of Sauvignon Blanc in hand, a wave of satisfaction washed over me. This was the life I had built, brick by brick, on the foundation of self-belief. The tranquility was broken by the insistent buzzing of my phone. An unknown number flickered on the screen. Usually, such calls were met with a dismissive silence, but a strange sense of unease gnawed at me. With a sigh, I swiped the answer button. "Hello?" I answered cautiously. A smooth, unfamiliar voice flowed through the receiver. "Is this Nellie?" My mind raced, searching for a connection to the voice. It held a hint of amusement, a touch of flirtation. "Yes, speaking," I replied, my voice regaining its usual confidence. "This is Michael," the voice continued, "from the gallery down on Elm Street. We met a few weeks ago at the opening, remember? The one with the abstract expressionist exhibit?" A memory flickered to life. The opening, the vibrant paintings, the man with the captivating smile and a passion for obscure French filmmakers. A smile tugged at the corner of my lips. "Michael, right. Of course, I remember." "Excellent," he chuckled. "Listen, I was wondering if you might be free for dinner this Friday? There's this new tapas place I've been dying to try, and—" "Sounds perfect," I replied, a genuine smile warming my voice. "What time should I pick you up?" "No need for that," he countered. "Let me be the gentleman. I'll swing by your place at 8. Looking forward to it, Nellie." The call ended, and I cradled the phone, a giddy feeling bubbling in my chest. Life wasn't just about financial success, it was about building connections, fostering new experiences. And as I gazed out at the breathtaking sunset, the future stretched before me, an open road brimming with endless possibilities, and a man named Michael waiting to share the journey.